Hi, good morning, boys and girls. How are you feeling today? I hope that you are feeling wonderful. Wonderful Wednesday is what I'm calling today. Yesterday was Tuesday, so of course that makes today Wednesday. What will tomorrow be? Tomorrow will be Thursday. We've been talking about insects and life cycles and how a cycle is something that goes around and around. The other day, I reminded you that the days of the week is a type of cycle as well. Here is Wednesday. Tomorrow will be Thursday. The next day would be Friday. After that comes Saturday, back up to Sunday, then Monday, and Tuesday, and finally we would arrive at Wednesday again. There are 7 days in the week: Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Today is Wednesday. So let's read our daily message together. Today is Wednesday, April 29th, 2020. It is a cloudy day. Today is Wednesday, April 29th, 2020. It is a cloudy day here in South Florida. Our wonderful word of the week is metamorphosis. Metamorphosis. And you will recall that metamorphosis means to change from one thing into another. An example would be caterpillars metamorphosizes into a butterfly. Caterpillars change into butterflies. You know, we've been talking a lot about insects this week. Well, if you go outside in your yard or your garden, if you have one, you're likely to see so many different kinds of insects. Today, we're going to be talking about something else that you can find in your garden. It's not an insect, but because it's outside in your garden or in your yard, we're going to talk about it. You might see these things eat more easily after it rains. After it rains. Today, we're going to be talking about snails and worms. Snails and worms. And again, these are not insects, but these are found in the soil, in your garden or in your yard. Do you remember what soil is? Soil is just another name for dirt. If you dig in the soil in your yard or in your garden, chances are you'll definitely see some worms. And I'm noticing here in South Florida where I live, after every heavy rain, I see lots of snails on my sidewalk, lots of snails in my garden, in my backyard. So that's what we're talking about today. We're talking about snails and creepy, crawly, wiggly, jiggly worms. If you look at my little message board here, you'll see that the word snail begins with letter S. Snail begins with letter S. Slug begins with S too. What in the world is a slug, you might ask? I'm glad you asked that question. A slug looks like this. You find slugs in the garden too. Let's talk about a slug because that's not a name that we hear a lot. We hear about snails a lot. We hear about worms a lot. But do we hear about slugs a lot? A slug is found in a garden, under a rock. They eat plants just like snails do. Slugs are slimy. Slugs, they wiggle very slowly, kind of like a worm. And snails, they walk very slowly. Remember Gary on SpongeBob? Gary is a snail. So we're talking about those kind of things today. We're talking about slugs and snails and wiggly worms. And all those things are found in soil. You can impress someone today by telling them that you know another word for dirt. You can say, hey, guess what? I know another name for dirt. And they're going to ask, well, what is it? And you're going to say, soil, soil, soil. Soil begins with the sound that S makes. Snail begins with the sound that S makes. And slug begins with the sound that S makes. Here is letter S. And S sounds like S, S, S. That's right. It kind of sounds like that hissing noise that snakes make. In my can of alphabet soup, I have some other things that begin with the sound that S makes. Again, here is our uppercase S. Here is our lowercase s, S. S is for saw. Remember in our book that I read the other day, Abba Yo-Yo, the father made someone's saw disappear? Z, 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 z. S is for saw. Have you ever gone to SeaWorld before? SeaWorld also begins with the sound that S makes. S. At SeaWorld, you can see some seals. Seal begins with the S sound. And socks. Socks begins with the sound that S makes. What are some other things that you can think of that might begin with the sound that S makes? I want you to think about that today and tell your sister or brother or mom or dad or auntie or uncle, grandma or grandpa, your cousins, anyone that's in the house with you today, some words that you can think of that begin with the sound that S makes. Let's practice writing letter S in the air. Put your finger up in the air and let's go. Let's write it. Zzz. Letter S. Let's do it again. Let's make the S sound. S. Letter S. Let's do it again. S. There we go. Lowercase s, we make it the same way. It's just smaller. Let's make it. S. S. Letter S. Letter S. What does S sound like? S. That's right. Letter S sounds like S. Soil begins with the sound that S makes. Remember, soil is another word that we can use for dirt. Impress someone today. Tell them what you know. Wishing you well, boys and girls. Wishing you well, moms and dads. Wishing you well, everyone watching this video. Until next time, this is Mrs. Harrell with Quarantine Learning. I wish you well. I wish you well. All through the day today, I wish you well.